Did you know that one of the Bible's strongest heroes had a surprising weakness? The story of Samson is more than just a tale of physical strength. It's a journey of personal growth, mistakes, and ultimate redemption. In this video, we'll uncover 7 hidden lessons from Samson's life that you might have missed. Samson's story begins with a miraculous birth. His parents, Manoah and his wife, struggled with infertility until an angel appeared with a divine message. This heavenly messenger foretold the arrival of a son who would be set apart for God's purpose. The child was to be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth, with specific vows including never cutting his hair, the source of his legendary strength. This extraordinary beginning raises questions about our own lives. What is our purpose? How can we live up to our potential? As we explore Samson's journey, we'll see how his choices shaped his destiny, for better and for worse. His story reminds us that even those chosen by God face challenges and temptations. Join us as we uncover the complexities of living up to a divine calling and the lessons we can learn from Samson's triumphs and failures. As Samson grew into adulthood, his incredible strength became legendary. The Bible recounts several remarkable feats that showcased his divine gift. One of the most famous incidents occurred when Samson encountered a young lion on his way to Timnah. With his bare hands, he tore the lion apart as easily as one might tear a young goat. This act of raw power foreshadowed the extraordinary strength that would define his life and mission. Perhaps even more astonishing was Samson's victory over 1,000 Philistines using only the jawbone of a donkey. Surrounded by enemies and with no conventional weapon at hand, Samson seized this unlikely tool and single-handedly defeated an entire army. The scale of this triumph is difficult to comprehend, yet it serves as a testament to the superhuman abilities bestowed upon him. These victories, while impressive, planted the seeds of Samson's eventual downfall. With each feat of strength, his pride grew. The ease with which he overcame seemingly insurmountable challenges led to a sense of invincibility. Samson began to view his strength as a personal attribute rather than a divine gift, forgetting the source and purpose of his power. This growing hubris manifested in increasingly reckless behavior. Samson started to take unnecessary risks, flaunting his abilities and challenging his enemies. He became overconfident, believing that no consequence could touch him. This attitude set the stage for a series of poor decisions that would ultimately lead to his capture and downfall. The concept of hubris, excessive pride, or self-confidence is not unique to Samson's story. Throughout history and in modern times, we see examples of individuals whose overconfidence led to their undoing. Consider powerful leaders who, buoyed by past successes, made catastrophic decisions that cost them their positions. Or successful athletes who, believing themselves unbeatable, neglected their training and lost their edge. In the business world, we've witnessed corporations crumble due to leadership blinded by past achievements. Kodak, once a giant in the photography industry, failed to adapt to the digital revolution, confident in the longevity of their traditional film business. Their pride in past innovations prevented them from embracing necessary change, leading to their eventual bankruptcy. These modern examples echo the timeless lesson from Samson's story. Unchecked pride can be a destructive force, capable of undermining even the most gifted individuals. It's a reminder that our strengths, whatever they may be, are often given to us for a greater purpose. When we lose sight of that purpose and begin to see our abilities as solely our own, we risk losing them altogether. As Samson's fame grew, so did the interest of his enemies. The Philistines, long tormented by his acts of defiance and destruction, sought desperately for a way to neutralize this seemingly invincible foe. It was in this context that Delilah entered Samson's life. Delilah, a woman from the valley of Sorek, caught Samson's eye. Their relationship would prove to be a turning point in his story, setting in motion a chain of events that would challenge everything Samson thought he knew about himself and his strength. The Philistines saw in Delilah an opportunity to finally uncover the secret of Samson's power. What transpired between Samson and Delilah would test the limits of trust, loyalty, and the consequences of revealing one's deepest vulnerabilities to the wrong person. Their interaction raises questions about the nature of love, the power of manipulation, and the dangers of allowing our desires to override our better judgment. Samson's relationship with Delilah marks a pivotal moment in his story. one that would ultimately lead to his downfall and eventual redemption. The Philistines, long tormented by Samson's strength and exploits, saw in Delilah an opportunity to finally uncover the secret of his power. They approached her with a substantial bribe, promising a fortune if she could discover the source of Samson's strength. Delilah, driven by greed or perhaps fear, began a campaign of manipulation against Samson. She repeatedly asked him to reveal the secret of his strength, using her charms and his affection for her as weapons. Samson, initially reluctant, deflected her questions with false answers. He told her that binding him with fresh bowstrings would render him powerless, then that new ropes would do the trick, and later that weaving his hair would suffice. Each time Delilah tested these false methods, Samson broke free with ease, demonstrating that he had not truly revealed his secret. Yet, despite these clear signs of her betrayal, Samson continued to stay with Delilah. This raises questions about the nature of love and trust. How often do we ignore warning signs in our relationships, choosing to believe what we want rather than what is evident? Finally, worn down by Delilah's constant nagging, Samson revealed the truth. His strength lay in his uncut hair, the visible sign of his Nazirite vow to God. This moment of vulnerability would prove catastrophic. While Samson slept, Delilah had his hair cut, breaking his vow and severing his connection to the source of his strength. The consequences of Samson's revelation were swift and severe. The Philistines, lying in wait, captured him with ease. They gouged out his eyes, a brutal act that symbolized not just physical blindness, but also the spiritual blindness that had led Samson to this point. He was bound in bronze shackles and forced to grind grain in prison, a humiliating fate for a man once renowned for his strength and freedom. This dramatic reversal of fortune serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of our choices. Samson's capture wasn't just about physical strength. It represented the culmination of a series of poor decisions driven by pride, lust, and a disregard for his divine purpose. How often do we, like Samson, allow our desires or ego to override our better judgment, potentially leading us down a path of self-destruction? Yet, even in this darkest moment, a spark of hope remained. As Samson languished in prison, his hair began to grow back. This seemingly small detail holds great significance. It symbolizes the possibility of renewal and second chances even after grave mistakes. During his captivity, Samson experienced a profound spiritual awakening. Stripped of his physical strength and the distractions of his previous life, he was forced to confront the consequences of his actions and reflect on his relationship with God. This period of introspection and suffering became a crucible for personal growth and redemption. Samson's journey from prideful strength to humbling weakness and then to a different kind of strength mirrors many of our own life experiences. How often do we need to hit rock bottom before we truly understand our purpose or reconnect with our values? Samson's story reminds us that even in our lowest moments, the potential for growth and redemption exists. As Samson's hair grew, so did his renewed sense of purpose and connection to God. This gradual transformation set the stage for his final defining act, an act that would redeem his past failures and fulfill his divine calling in a way he could never have imagined during his days of physical prowess. Samson's journey, from strength to weakness and back again, culminates in a final act of redemption that has echoed through the ages. After enduring months of humiliation and captivity, Samson found himself at the center of a grand Philistine celebration. The leaders had gathered to offer sacrifices to their god Dagon, believing he had delivered their enemy into their hands. In a twist of irony, the once mighty Samson was brought out to entertain the crowd. As he stood between the main pillars of the temple, Samson's thoughts turned to prayer. For the first time in years, he called out to God with genuine humility, asking for strength one last time. This moment marks a profound shift in Samson's character. No longer relying on his own power, he acknowledges his dependence on divine intervention. Samson's prayer was simple yet powerful. Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes. This plea reveals Samson's transformation. He no longer seeks personal glory, but asks to fulfill his purpose as Israel's defender one final time. The symbolism of Samson's regrown hair is significant. In the Bible, Hair often represents strength, vitality, and one's relationship with God. As Samson's hair grew during his captivity, so did his spiritual renewal. This physical change mirrored an internal transformation, setting the stage for his ultimate act of sacrifice. With renewed strength, Samson pushed against the pillars with all his might. The temple collapsed, killing Samson along with thousands of Philistines, including their leaders. This act achieved more in death than Samson had accomplished in life. It dealt a significant blow to Israel's enemies and fulfilled his role as a judge and deliverer of his people. The concept of redemptive sacrifice resonates across various belief systems. In Samson's case, his death served a greater purpose, echoing themes found in other religious narratives. It reminds us that even our darkest moments can be transformed into opportunities for redemption and positive change. Samson's lasting legacy extends far beyond the biblical narrative. His story has inspired countless artistic works, from classical paintings to modern films. The phrase Samson's strength has become synonymous with extraordinary power, while the idea of a Delilah represents betrayal and temptation in popular culture. More profoundly, Samson's tale continues to resonate with people today because it touches on universal themes. It explores the complexities of human nature, our strengths and weaknesses, our capacity for both greatness and folly. Samson's story reminds us that even those with great gifts can falter, but also that redemption is possible for anyone willing to humble themselves and seek it. The narrative of Samson challenges us to consider our own lives. How do we handle the gifts and responsibilities we've been given? Are we using our strengths for the greater good, or have we lost sight of our purpose? Samson's journey from pride to humility, from self-reliance to faith, offers valuable lessons for personal growth and self-reflection. Moreover, Samson's story encourages us to look beyond surface-level judgments. It's easy to dismiss someone based on their mistakes, but Samson's redemption reminds us that transformation is possible. This perspective can foster empathy and second chances in our relationships and communities. In our modern context, Samson's tale raises questions about the nature of strength itself. While physical prowess was Samson's defining characteristic, we might consider what constitutes true strength in today's world. Is it intellectual capacity, emotional resilience, moral courage, or something else entirely? Samson's final act suggests that real strength might lie in sacrificing oneself for a greater cause. Samson's life offers timeless lessons we can apply today. His story teaches us the importance of humility and the dangers of letting pride cloud our judgment. We see how compromising our values, even gradually, can lead to devastating consequences. Yet, Samson's final act reminds us that redemption is possible, no matter how far we've strayed. As we reflect on Samson's journey, let's consider our own strengths and weaknesses. How can we use our gifts responsibly? Are there areas in our lives where pride might be hindering our growth? Samson's story challenges us to examine our choices and their long-term impacts. Biblical figures like Samson show us both the heights of human potential and the depths of human frailty. How can their experiences guide us in our own spiritual journeys?